All right, let's jump right in because we're honestly living through a massive, sudden inversion in the world of cybersecurity. For decades, right, the absolute hardest part of securing a network was literally just finding the software bugs in the first place. It was this painstaking needle in a haystack kind of endeavor. But overnight, finding those vulnerabilities is shockingly no longer the hardest part of the job. Actually, thanks to AI, or finding them way faster than humanly possible. So, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking Anthropic's Project Glasswing to figure out exactly how their new AI model has fundamentally broken the old cybersecurity paradigm and, well, what we've got to do to fix it. Here's our quick roadmap for today. We're going to start by unpacking the new cybersecurity paradigm. Then we'll look at the specific AI driving it, Mythos Preview. After that, we'll dive into the open source overload it's causing, how we go about defending the gap, and finally, what comes next. So, Section 1, the new cybersecurity paradigm. We are officially moving from an era of finding straight into an era of fixing. Okay, let's really dive into this contrast. Historically, cybersecurity was essentially a giant game of hide and seek. The bottleneck, it was strictly limited by how fast human researchers could hunt down new, hidden vulnerabilities. But look at the new era here. The rules have completely flipped. With these highly capable AI models stepping into the arena, finding the bugs is, well, it's the easy part. Today, progress is bottlenecked by how fast human beings can actually verify, disclose, and patch this massive mountain of newly discovered vulnerabilities. Section 2. Enter Mythos Preview. Let's take a look at the sheer scale of this discovery. 10,000 plus. I mean, that is just a staggering number. Last month, Anthropic launched Project Glasswing, which is this collaborative effort to secure the world's critical software before AI models can be turned against it. So they teamed up with about 50 partners who maintain fundamental internet infrastructure. And using Anthropic's new model, Claude Mythos Preview, those partners found more than 10,000 high or critical severity vulnerabilities. And get this, they didn't do this over a year. They did the whole shebang in just one single month. Several partners even reported their bug-finding rate shot up by a factor of 10. Cloudflare alone found 2,000 bugs, and they noted that the AI's false positive rate was actually better than their human testers. Just let that sink in for a second. Now, what's really interesting about this next bit is the hard validation. Because you might be wondering, okay, is this just marketing hype? But the crucial point is the external data. The UK's AI Security Institute reported that Mythos Preview is literally the first model ever to completely solve both of their simulations of multi-step cyber attacks end-to-end. Mozilla used it and found 271 vulnerabilities in Firefox 150. That's over 10 times more than they found in their previous version using an older model. Expo, an independent security platform, noted the model gave them absolutely unprecedented precision. So this isn't theoretical at all. This AI is fundamentally outperforming existing security benchmarks across the board. Which brings us to a massive, emerging problem. Section 3, the open source overload and the triage bottleneck. We really need to talk about the dangerous ripple effects this unprecedented discovery rate is having. See, AI can hunt through millions of lines of code and spot a critical flaw in seconds. But a human being? It takes a human, on average, 2 weeks to actually patch a high-severity bug found by Mythos Preview. It's kind of like having a fire alarm that goes off in milliseconds, but a fire department that takes a full fortnight to show up. During those 2 weeks, we're just sitting there in this precarious window of vulnerability. Human capacity to verify, write a report, design a fix, and actually deploy that patch is just totally maxed out right now. Anthropic's scan of over 1,000 open source projects brilliantly illustrates this exact human constraint. Just look at this massive drop-off in the triage funnel. Mythos Preview estimated about 6,200 high or critical severity bugs. Once human experts from independent security firms started carefully assessing a batch of these, they confirmed 1,587 as valid true positive vulnerabilities. But look at that final bar. As of this report, only 75 of the high or critical severity bugs reported to maintainers have actually been patched. The sheer amount of human sweat and effort required to drag a bug from found to fixed is immense. To really put this into perspective and understand why this matters, let's look at a pretty terrifying real-world example from that scan. Wolf SSL. This is an open-source cryptography library used by literally billions of devices worldwide for secure communication. Well, Mythos Preview detected a vulnerability. It's patched now as CVE 2026-5194, but it actually constructed an exploit for it. If a bad actor had found this first, they could have forged certificates to host perfectly legitimate-looking fake websites for, say, a bank or an email provider. To you, the end user, your browser would swear up and down that the fake bank was 100% secure and authentic. That is the caliber of flaws just sitting in our open source foundations right now. But fixing these foundations comes with a severe human cost. You have to remember, open source software is very often maintained by volunteers. And right now, these maintainers are getting absolutely buried under a deluge of AI-generated bug reports. They're so incredibly overwhelmed, so severely capacity constrained, that a bunch of maintainers have actively asked Anthropic to please slow down their vulnerability disclosures. They literally just need more time to design the patches. Even at Anthropic's carefully managed pace, this AI is dropping massive weight onto an ecosystem that's already stretched way too thin. So, how do we survive this interim period? Section 4, defending the gap and adapting to the new reality. So, the crucial point here is that since Mythos-class models significantly shrink the time it takes to find and exploit vulnerabilities, we're living in a super high-risk window between discovery and patching. Here's how we adapt. Step 1. Software developers absolutely must relentlessly shorten their patch cycles. Updates need to be incredibly easy, practically seamless for users to install. Step 2. Network defenders need to lean hard on foundational security controls that don't depend on waiting for some single magical patch to drop. That means hardening your default configurations, keeping comprehensive logs, and, for sure, strictly enforcing multi-factor authentication. Fortunately, defenders are fighting back. They're actually using AI to scale up their own efforts. Anthropic recently rolled out the Claude security beta for enterprise customers, and in just 3 weeks, teams used Claude Opus 4.7 to patch over 2,100 vulnerabilities in their own codebases. That's huge. They've also launched this cyber verification program, which gives verified security pros unrestricted model use for red teaming. Plus, they're sharing the exact same tools they use with Mythos Preview, things like mapping harnesses and threat model builders, while partners like Cisco have open-sourced their Foundry security spec. Basically, we are actively equipping defenders to fight machine speed discovery with machine speed patching. Which brings us to our final section. What comes next? The path to a secure internet. Right now, we are in a very delicate, high-stakes holding pattern. Mythos-class models are currently being completely withheld from public release. Anthropic's rationale for this is pretty straightforward. At present, no company has developed safeguards strong enough to prevent these highly capable models from being misused. Think about it. If a model like this gets released generally without those safeguards, exploiting flawed software suddenly becomes drastically cheaper and way easier for almost anyone in the world. So, Project Glasswing is designed to give critical defenders an asymmetric head start before these kinds of capabilities inevitably proliferate out into the wild. And that leads to the ultimate goal behind all of this disruption. It's summed up perfectly in this quote from Anthropic's update. On the far side of these risks, there's an encouraging world available to us, one in which important code is hardened far better than it is today, and in which hacking is far less prevalent. And honestly, that is exactly why we're going through this chaotic bottleneck phase right now. AI is exposing all the cracks in our digital foundations so that we can finally, permanently fill them. Which leaves us with this final thought. We are literally watching a real-time race between human adaptability and machine speed. AI has proven, without a doubt, that it can uncover the internet's deepest flaws in seconds. But our human systems, our triage processes, our volunteer maintainers, our deployment pipelines, they're still operating in weeks and months. So as AI inevitably accelerates both offense and defense, are our human systems ready for the pace of the future? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope this helped structure your understanding of the incredible paradigm shift happening in cybersecurity right now. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.